Hello friends, with a warm welcome with a new topic, primary and secondary metabolite. What are metabolites? If we talk about the metabolites, they are basically the ergastic material of the cell. Ergastic material means they are waste product or they are byproduct of the cell metabolism. Now the question rises first, what is metabolism? Let us come over our first slide. We are getting introduction of the metabolites. What are metabolites basically? Metabolites are very small sized particles which are characterized with various functions of cell, like their growth, like their development, like their reproduction, and except that they also perform a function of protection to the animal, to the plant. They may be categorized within two different types exactly, with primary and secondary metabolites. Coming over to the next, we are coming over to the history of metabolism. The history, in the history part, we can say in the history part, basically metabolism word derived from the word Greek word metabolismos. There is another saying about the word metabolism. It is derived from the French word metabolisme. Both of them means basically pathways which have studied over with the several centuries and examining whole animals. In early studies, they examine individual metabolic reaction in biochemistry part as well as in the molecular biology part. Next, exactly, what are metabolites? As we previously discussed, there are two types of metabolites, primary and secondary metabolite. What are primary metabolites and secondary metabolites? Exactly, metabolites are the intermediate end products of metabolism. They are restricted over to the very small molecules. Whereas if we discuss about the primary and secondary metabolite, basically the primary metabolites which are directly involved in the normal growth, development and reproduction, like carbohydrate, protein, lipids and nucleic acid. Whereas in the case of secondary metabolite, they are not directly involved in the process of development, reproduction and growth, but they have some ecological functions, like they have a protection functions, like they have a antibiotic functions for the to kill scavenger cells or different kind of cells in the human being. Coming over to the next slide, here we are going to discuss the brief about primary and secondary metabolite. The first one, primary metabolites. Basically, primary metabolite involved in maintaining normal physiological process. It is often referred to as central metabolite because it always functions like essential for proper growth, development and reproduction. For example, primary metabolites like alcohol, ethanol, lactic acid, carbohydrate, proteins, fats, different type of things. Now coming over to the secondary metabolites. In the term of pathways, it basically comes after the primary metabolite, and the most important thing we should know that the secondary metabolite would develop with the primary metabolites. Basically, they are not required for the survival of the organism, but they have different kind of properties like antibiotic function, like mycotoxin function, and they are involved in the different ecological functions too. They can be classified with their chemical structure, chemical composition, solubility and various solvents, pathways by which they have been synthesized. Moving to our next slide, exactly, what are the secondary metabolites, they are structurally diversely low molecular mass molecules that are not essential for the growth and survival of the producing organism. Basically, they serve to increase the fitness of the producing organism and decrease the fitness of the other organism or surrounding organism. It means they are helpful or they are beneficial for the organism where they have been created, but they are not beneficial, they are not lucrative for the other organisms where they have been surrounded. They play a role in regulation and process of sporulation. Now the question arises, why secondary metabolite are no use of organism? Because they synthesize in the late growth cycle in stationary phase, that is ideo phase. Moving over to the next slide, we are going to discuss how secondary metabolite develops with the help of primary metabolites. Here we can see that carbon dioxide and water both are important for the photosynthesis process, and with the end of the photosynthesis process, sugar evolved, and this sugar further involved in the production of cyanogenetic glycoside and glucosinolylate. Exactly, this is also important for the saponin and cardiac glycoside production. Further, this sugar incorporate in the respiration, cellular respiration, where acetyl coenzyme A and different other chemicals condense and form terpenoidal and steroidal structures, and with the respiration process, different types of amino acid, proteins and alkaloids, lignins, flavonoids and tannins have been developed in a plant cell. So here we can see with all these secondary metabolites like saponin, cardiac glycoside, terpenoid, flavonoid, tannin, lignin, phenol, alkaloids, proteins, cyanogenetic glycosides, the root cause is respiration, and respiration, before cellular respiration, all it comes with the sugars, which sugar has been derived in the glucogenolysis with the photosynthesis. Moving to the next slide, exactly, we have divided the categories of secondary metabolites for the ease of study. Exactly, there are different 6 categories for the study: mycotoxins, antibiotics, alkaloids, amino acids, steroids and vitamins. Further, we are going to study about the differences of primary and secondary metabolite. The basic differences in the primary and secondary metabolite is there are growth and development processes. As we have already discussed, primary metabolites are directly involved in the normal growth, development and reproduction process of the primary metabolites of the different organism or cells, whereas secondary metabolites are not directly involved. They are not involved in the growth, development and reproduction of the organism. In the case of primary metabolite, the examples are carbohydrate, fats, proteins and different other molecules. But in the case of secondary metabolite, resin, tannin, alkaloid, gums, they are come under the category of secondary metabolite, whereas primary metabolites are non-poisonous at all, but sometimes secondary metabolites would be poisonous. This is the major difference between primary and secondary metabolite. Moving over to the study of the next slide, exactly, we are discussing the different types of different categories of the secondary metabolite as we studied in the previous slide. The first one is mycotoxin. Mycotoxin, they are toxic secondary metabolite from the fungi basically, but they are not toxic for the fungus, but they have been they have been toxic effect for the surrounding animals. They can be of a different type and they will affect on the health, and they will affect to the health and different types of animals. The next category of the secondary metabolite is antibiotic. The word antibiotic has been coined first in 1942 with the scientist Selman Waksman. He coined this term. The secondary metabolite isolated from the microbes and different types of fungus may exhibit the different activity of antibacterial, antifungal, antiprotozoal and anti-tumor activity. This is known as antibiotic. Next category is alkaloid. We all know very much about the alkaloid. They are naturally occurring chemical component with a nitrogen component in a heterocyclic ring. Basically, they also have sulfur, chlorine or bromine in phosphorus, and these alkaloids are very helpful for the human being as they have been useful as a crude drug for benefit of the human being. Here are some examples of alkaloids like ergotamine, oxaline and pyramine, whereas ergotamine is obtained from the ergot alkaloid, which is useful in the treatment of different ovarian disease and also in the useful of the migraine pain. Moving further, we are coming to the steroids. A steroid is a biologically active organic component which is having 4 rings arranged in a specific molecular configuration. They may be pentacyclic, they may be tetracyclic. Basically, these steroidal components have been useful in different ways for the human being, as Rhizopus erizus, which generates the steroid progesterone, which is similar to the human progesterone, and Canigamela and Blakesley, they produce the steroid hydrocortisone, which is similar to the hydrocortisone useful in the human being, and Rhizopus nigricans, which also produce different types of alkaloids which are used in the medicinal purposes. Moving over to the next one, vitamins. There are different vitamins which have been developed as a secondary metabolite product of different culture, like Asbea gossypi, which produce the secondary metabolite riboflavin, which is vitamin B2, and Gluconobacter oxidans, which also produce L-sarbanose vitamin. There are so many different other cultures like streptomycin and oromycin, which produces vitamin B12. Moving over next, that is amino acid in secondary metabolite like tryptophan, thiomin, phenylalanine. There are different bacteria like Escherichia coli, Corynebacterium glutamicus. They produce tryptophan and phenylalanine as a secondary metabolite product in different cultures. This is all from my side. Thank you so much. Good morning, friends. Our today's topic for the discussion is amino acid pathway. First of all, the question arises, what is amino acid pathway? Exactly, amino acid pathway is a metabolic pathway in all living organisms through which amino acids have been produced with different biochemical reactions in a sequence with the involvement of different enzymes and different chemicals, and ultimately it produces a secondary metabolite, amino acids, and few of the primary metabolites of amino acids. These amino acids which have been synthesized with amino acid pathways comes under the category of the primary metabolites because they are directly involved in the growth, reproduction and development of the organism. These amino acids are the basic units of different proteins. With the different combinations of the amino acids, different kinds of protein have been developed, and these proteins perform different functions in the body. They are directly involved in the growth, development and different bodybuilding, maintaining of the organism. These amino acids are also responsible for the production of different secondary metabolites. For example, alkaloids. Alkaloids are developed or produced through different amino acids. Most of the amino acids found in the nature are known as alpha amino acids. I mean to say exactly different amino acids which already developed and produced in the cell of the plant are known as alpha amino acids. Now the question arises, what is alpha amino acids? Exactly, when carboxylic and amino group both have been joined at the alpha carbon at the same time, this phenomenon is known as alpha amino acid. I describe it where different alpha amino acids have been found in the living organism naturally. Moving over to the next slide, where we discuss from where these amino acid synthesis have been started. Or next slide. All these amino acid synthesis have been started with glycolysis cycle and TCA cycle. TCA cycle, that is also known as tricarboxylic acid cycle or Krebs cycle, where different metabolites, like in the case of glycolysis, ultimately the end product pyruvic acid has been found, but there are different intermediates in these cycles which are responsible for the production of amino acids. Like in the glycolysis cycle, alpha ketonic acid is responsible for the responsible as initiation product for the production of different amino acids. That is, it is a precursor for amino acid pathway. In the glycolysis, where the glucose has been breakdown, there are different intermediates have been produced. One of them is alpha ketonic acid, alpha keto acids exactly, which is used as a precursor for the production of different amino acids, whereas alpha keto acid have been first here in this case exactly, this alpha ketoglutaric acid aminate, that means there is a amination process from which glutamic acid and again a amination formerly produce glutamine amino acids. As in the case of glycolysis, the pyruvic acid is a precursor product where pyruvic acid aminated and formed alanine amino acids. In the case of TCA cycle, where the precursor, where the intermediate oxaloacetic acid has been taken for the production of a different amino acid like asparagine, whereas intermediate product oxaloacetic acid has been aminated to form aspartic acid, and aspartic acid further aminated to form amino acid asparagine. Further, with these preformed amino acids like alanine, aspartic acid and glutamic acid, they serve as the alpha amino donors for production of the other amino acids, where transamination of these alanine, aspartic acid and glutamic acid has been done to form other amino acids. Moving further, where some other complex amino acids have been produced with these preformed amino acids like alanine, aspartic acid and glutamic acid, we discuss the production of proline, hydroxyproline, ornithine and arginine amino acid, where these amino acids have been synthesized with the glutamic acid. At the very first, glutamic acid at the first position, carboxylic group have been converted to the aldehyde group, and this conversion is involved to release a water molecule, a OH H2O molecule exactly. This is a reduction process where from glutamic acid, glutamic alpha semialdehyde has been produced. From this glutamic alpha semialdehyde, where the amination process starts at the first carbon position, where the CHO bond has been produced to the CHNH2 bond, and this forms ornithine amino acid at the very first time. From this ornithine amino acids, at a few intermediate processes have been involved, and at the ultimate position at the end, arginine amino acids have been developed, where C at the first carbon and three amine group have been joined to the first carbon, and this forms arginine amino acid. From this glutamic semialdehyde, alpha semialdehyde, another amino acid developed, which is known as hydroxypyrrolidine. First of all, from glutamic alpha semialdehyde, which is a long chain amino acid, a cyclization occurs which forms alpha pyrroline 5 carboxylic acid, and this alpha 5 carboxylic acid, a double bond has been released, and from to the nitrogen a hydrogen molecule attach, and this forms proline amino acid, and this proline amino acid further hydrated to form hydroxypyrroline at the second position of the carbon. This is the formation. Here we have described 4 different amino acids, which are complex amino acids, which have been developed with the glutamic acid. From the glutamic acid, ornithine, arginine, proline and hydroxyproline amino acids have been developed with the intermediate molecule, which is known as glutamic alpha semialdehyde. Glutamic alpha semialdehyde ultimately form ornithine and arginine in the long chain carbon compound, and where it has been developed proline and hydroxyproline after cyclization of glutamic alpha semialdehyde. Moving to the formation of some other complex amino acids, now we will discuss the formation of serine and glycine amino acids. These serine and glycine amino acids are readily interconvertible to each other exactly. This serine and glycine amino acid have been developed with the 3-phosphoglyceric acid, where 3-phosphoglyceric acid has been condensed with the pyruvic acid, and this and through this condensation 3-phosphoserine has been developed, and this 3-phosphoserine, where the phosphorus group have been evolved, and ultimately with this dephosphorylation serine amino acid have been developed, have been formed in this case exactly. So I mean to say, from where this serine amino acid this serine amino acid has been produced with the condensation of two different intermediate molecules of the TCA cycle and glycolysis cycle. From the glycolysis cycle, pyruvic acid has been taken, and from the TCA cycle 3-phosphoglyceric acid have been taken, and these two molecules have been condensed to form So these two, serine and glycine, have been formed with the condensation product of the TCA cycle and glycolysis cycle. From the TCA cycle, phosphoglyceric acid, and from glycolysis, pyruvic acid has been taken as the precursor of the product serine amino acid, and this serine amino acid is racemic form of the glycine amino acid, and these two can be interconvertible. Now moving further with some other complex amino acid like leucine, like valine, which are important as essential amino acid. Here is the formation sequence of alanine, valine and leucine amino acids. With the product of glycolysis, pyruvic acid further form alpha acetoacetic acid, and this alpha acetoacetic acid further convert to the alpha keto beta hydroxy isovaleric acid, and this isovaleric acid further dehydrated to form dihydroxy isovaleric acid, and this isovaleric acid further hydroxylated to form alpha ketovaleric acid, and this alpha ketovaleric acid further amination has been performed on this alpha ketovaleric acid to form valine amino acid. This alpha ketovaleric acid is also responsible for the formation of alpha keto isohaproic acid, which is further converted to the leucine amino acid. These two amino acids are very important as a viewpoint of they are essential amino acid. Moving further to another secondary metabolite amino acid, that is leucine amino acid. Lysine amino acid. This lysine amino acid is also a precursor for some formation of some alkaloids like nicotiana alkaloid, that is nicotine alkaloid, lupinous alkaloid like lupinous, and punica granatum alkaloids. And this lysine amino acid is derived from the aspartate, where involving in the pathway for the utilization of 2,3-dihydropicnic acid and diaminopimelic acid. This is all for the amino acid pathway. Thank you.